Record.
The protein program.
So I guess here we go. Hey y'all, I am Carla Ways and I live in British Columbia, Canada.
And I am Chantale Bianco, and I live in Downpatrick, Ireland.
So Chantale and I used to be a fitness competitor, and that's sort of how we met. Why don't you go first and then I will.
So in terms of how we met,
Yeah.
or yeah, so we both had the same coach once upon a time, and before we physically met, we met online during I believe it was COVID boot camps,
Yeah.
and then Carla did the Calgary show in 22 and went pro. I was doing the amateurs in the WBFF Worlds, and we were all going together as a team because we all had the same coach. Um, I was late because hair and makeup was so behind time. I missed the party,
Yes.
but you and another friend of ours was still there, and we physically met in person.
Yeah, it had been a while. It's funny. I remember meeting you in those boot camp classes, and at first I remember thinking, "Oh, I guess she doesn't like me." 'Cause there was something I posted or I talked about, and you were like, "Oh, that's nothing," and I was just like, "Oh, she's not on team with me." But it was okay because when I met you in person, you're actually quite lovely. So I remember thinking, "Oh no, it's fine, it's good." Oh my God, she's normal, she's nice, yay! Yeah, I never told you that till now, so I got a
No, I'm
honest
trying to think.
reaction.
I don't even remember. Like, I remember me typing things because my microphone wasn't always working. And I think sometimes when I type, it comes off as aggressive. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's not that aggressive.
Yeah. Well, also you were quite well prepared for those workouts. As I remember, you had like full on like barbells and stuff, whereas a lot of us just had like piecemeal, like put together little dumbbells, this or that. But some women do, depending on where you work and what country you're in, how much equipment you can have at home. So some people have like a full on gym, or others are just like, you know, a
Let's
rolling
just
gym.
sort of put it out there. I literally had a dumbbell and two ankle weights. That's
Oh,
all I
really?
had. Yeah.
It seemed like a lot at the time.
Yeah. I have a yoga mat, I suppose.
Could do the stretch. Um, that's funny. So yeah, we met at the Worlds 2022, but
Mhm.
also we had created a group chat with just a few of us. And that's where we got into, say, posting regularly to each other in a group. You were really good at like posting your current like your check-in photos. So
Mhm.
our chat, the way our chat is quite open.
Yeah, I think
Um,
because everybody, especially if you're competing together, we all go through ups and downs. And for those who are in sort of the depths of prep, everything is horrendous.
yeah.
Everything isn't going well in your eyes. You feel like you're 10 weeks behind and you'll not get ready and you're just going to look like a marshmallow. Whereas
Yeah.
for like when I was competing in 23, you weren't competing, so you were able to say, "Wise up, you're fine.
Mhm.
Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and go." So
Yeah,
it's quite refreshing because you need that sort of level-headed friend, but someone who also knows what it's like to be in prep.
definitely. I know. It's almost like an amateur sort of support group, like the chat groups that we have. Because it's not only, hey, look at my body, what do you think? Or this is what I'm eating, but also the emotional and then the social connection, because you might be turning down like events in your life and feel a bit more isolated. But I think when people like continue and are at the pro levels, you get to a point where you've made more connections within that community. So you don't feel so alone. It's like more, these are my people. I mean, you have these people who don't compete and who aren't into fitness the same level, but then you also have the ones who like totally get it. And it's
Yeah.
all over the world. It's global. So
And what's really nice is, especially if you travel solo for a lot of the competitions,
yeah.
um, for example, my very first show, which was London in 2019, I went completely by myself.
Yeah.
I had nobody in the audience. I was literally solo. I was a lost soul. Now I had my mum for next two
Mhm.
shows, but for Calgary, it was you were my family,
Yeah.
quite literally.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, screw the hotel, cancel. It's free cancellation. Come with me.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. So, yeah, when Chantale did the Calgary WBFF show, some of our friends were already living in Alberta, and then I just came over from Victoria and I stayed with her in her Airbnb, and it was just like the coolest experience. Yeah.
This was your first time ever staying in an Airbnb as well.
Yeah, I had never done it before. My husband's kind of afraid of them because he just thinks of like the horror stories that something's going to go wrong. So we stay in hotels. But most of my fitness friends and my friends through Instagram, basically, you guys, we're all Instagram friends. Yeah, everyone else stays in Airbnb. So that was a first for me. Mhm.
So handy though for shows.
I know.
Like you saw, like we had our own kitchen,
Oh, it
a
was
huge
beautiful.
bathroom. It was so much handier. Um, Especially because with me having to travel so far, I have to bring so much food. Now, I did sneak all my food in
Yeah.
and you were a bit freaking out, thinking, "What the fuck? No, you did. What did you do?" And I
I'm
was
a
like, "Yeah,
brown girl. I can't get past anything.
I just brought everything, and didn't
Yeah.
get caught." Um,
See?
but it was so handy for the
You give
before and
my
the
shit to
after.
Chantel.
Um, but like I heard some of the girls freaking out in
Yeah.
the host hotel because they didn't have access to a fridge or all these little details, and I was like, sorted. I've got a whole fridge to myself.
Yeah, and that's just sort of where, I don't know, you could say cosmically or whatever, we had these ideas and thoughts of what a great experience would be for a federation and for competing. And then, of course, lo and behold, events played out as they did. And then there was the whole shift. And then FMG came about, and it's just like, that was what we were saying. I know I
Yeah,
just jumped.
I think though. I suppose I can say this now,
Yeah.
but I told you more than anybody else. This was my last WBFF show anyway. Um,
Mhm.
I had a horrendous experience in Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the feelings I experienced, a lot of people did experience later on, especially in the World's 23.
Yeah.
But I had said I had wanted to finish my WBFF show on a high.
Yes.
So I had wanted to do one more show, but I was going to Canada anyway. Do it my own terms. I was getting secondhand bikinis. I refused to stay at the host hotel, refused to do the WBFF photo shoots.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it just goes to show if you're the best on the day and all the political sort of people aren't there, you can win
Yeah. Because you
without
did.
ticking off the little boxes. But we always said we wish WBFF Australia would take over
Mm-hmm.
for that reason. And lo and behold, FMG is just that.
Yeah.
The a completely different sort of world to the mainstream WBFF. And finally, FMG has come, refreshed, rebranded, and it's got an exciting new feel. I just can't wait to compete this year. Well, next technically.
I know. I know. Well, when you're in competition, like you're in comp prep mode, so of course you're thinking ahead of time and all this. So yeah, for you, it's already 2025. That's awesome. Just briefly, did you want to keep talking? We're at the almost at the 9-minute mark. We could.
Oh,
No, well, we could just sorry, a little tech convo here. We could just have this part for TikTok and then continue on. I can put it on full
okay.
at YouTube.
We could do that. We'll do
Okay,
that.
let's. Okay. So that's sort of where we came from. And then did we want to say like where we are now?
Sure.
Awesome.
You go ahead. You start.
Okay. So yeah, because of all of okay, so just a little backstory with me. I started competing. Um,
Many, many years ago.
yeah, I know. I'm just like shit. I'm like writing my book, and it's like I'm writing like in my 2001 is when I was doing bikini contests in the bar for like Hawaiian Tropic, Venus Swimmer, all that stuff. It was very different, but I did it quite a few years there, and then I didn't want to be part of that world. I did other things. And then I discovered bodybuilding and fitness around 2010. So then I trained myself the first few times. And then after that, I met people and then I got a coach. So I've been doing this for a long time. My first WBFF show was 2012. And actually, that was the year that I did the Vancouver WBFF, and I met Heidi that night that she won her pro card. So it's just been really like a long-term goal for me, especially because I felt I was more of a fitness model than say, a hardcore, more hardcore, like a bikini bodybuilder, although I do love them. And I do love their work ethic and I just love the simplicity too. I mean, I love that too, that you just brought your bikini and heels. Whereas, we, on the other hand, you have to get the gown, you have to get the theme wear, and then you have to get your bikini. So sometimes you have two bikinis, or and then you have your heels and everything else under the sun that goes along with it.
I don't think people realize how much crap we need to bring to a show.
No.
Like when I traveled for London, like London's only an hour, 20 minutes flight from me, like where I live. I had to bring a huge suitcase and two small carry-ons. So one of them was actually my mum's carry-on.
Yeah.
So that was all my food. The other one was my bikini and my heels and my dress, which I kind of sandwiched in.
Yeah.
And then the rest was just like my normal clothes and everything else. And that was just a 3 day trip.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't anything else. Um, and people just don't realize how much crap you have to bring. And that's like I didn't have to do any photo shoots
Yeah.
for Vegas. I don't know about you, but it was tight. Like I had to use nearly two suitcases for Vegas.
Oh yeah. Um, I trained myself for WBFF Miami in 2017, and I was working in a hotel at the time, so I had like in food and beverage, so I was kind of like a server, and I had access to all these cash tips, and because of that, and because I saved on coaching fees and whatnot, and I think I had we had the same posing coach. Yes, the one from the UK. Anyway, so
I
I
forgot about that.
yeah, I had her for a while because she had that cheaper kind of just do it online style. So that I did
Mhm.
all this. Point being, I bought first class ticket for just for me because that's the thing. I just went by myself. Just for myself, I went to Miami first class and I had all my luggage taken care of. It was beautiful. Yeah, I had so much, probably like a few suitcases worth. So, and then I sat there not drinking in the plane and everybody thought I was crazy. But I'm like, wait till I return, motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, when I flew to Vegas, um, I also had the layover in Chicago,
Yeah.
and I had this huge bridal gown
Mm.
bag with all my dresses and my wings, and then my little suitcase with my bikinis. And it was really hot that weekend, and they were offering like free brownies and ice cream on the flight. And
Yeah.
I was thinking, would you just piss off? Go
I
away.
know.
And I actually had some melatonin in my pocket because I had planned to sleep the first 8 hours of the flight. Because when I would wake up, then I would be, well, I was always hungry.
Yeah.
Um, but that was my breakfast in Chicago, but I forgot to take it. So I was awake for the entire thing,
Oh God.
hungry,
Hmm.
dehydrated, even though I was drinking like 9 liters of water.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were offering me ice cream and brownies, and I was thinking, this day is just horrendous.
You're
Just
in
piss.
hell.
I was literally in a tin can in the air, couldn't get
Yeah.
escaped.
That's funny. Oh my God. Yeah. And it was super hot too. I remember that week in Vegas. Oh my God.
So, okay, so you did your Miami show in 2017.
Yeah.
Did you take a break from it?
Just for a little bit. And that's when I was trying to become, say, like a fitness coach online. And I did a whole bunch of work towards that. And then the next year, I believe, so 2019, I did WBFF LA. And that was a completely different experience. I knew tons of people by then, and it was like just beautiful. I felt like my physique at the time was the best I ever had. And I had like the outfits, I had the designer bikini, I had the this and the that, I had the connections. I was in all these different groups. I did tons of shoots. So I got a lot out of it for sure. But because I hadn't pushed myself so hard like that before, say with dieting to that level, and to the point where top people were saying to me, I think you've got your pro card now. Like I was like, thank you. Um, the crashing low after, that was brutal. That was probably my worst post-show blues experience ever. Yeah.
Was it because you not expected, but you felt right? This I have such a high chance here to get a pro
Yeah.
card,
I think
and
it was,
then it was like, no,
yeah.
sorry.
Well, it was that too, but it was a few things. So because I was building a fitness brand, having a pro card, of course, it just puts that in the public eye that you're a professional of sorts. And so there was that build up for it. I had wanted it for a long time. So, and I wanted to be part of that world. And there was that. But when you look at that point underneath, that is your own personal thing of acceptance. And
Hmm.
that's like an internal thing, maybe based on something else that happened in like the early 2000s or the 90s in my case, or whatever. It's like, oh, I want to mend that part of me with being accepted now. So, I mean, that's me. I've done a lot of work on myself, so I know where these things come from. Um, so
So
yeah,
we it's a big thing that people, like, more your top athletes will say, stop chasing the pro card.
they
You
do.
know, um, we've all done it.
Hmm.
And I remember like my friend who has passed away, um,
Yeah.
got depressed over doing her best and just being basically knocked back so many times.
Yeah.
And sadly, she went from federations where she was winning constantly,
Hmm.
and once she entered a harder federation, not so much harder in terms of look,
Yeah.
but more that there's a lot of boxes to be ticked, a
Yeah.
lot of hoops to be jumped through, and she wasn't winning. She's like, why didn't I win? Like, I should have won. And then
Hmm.
she got the pro card, and I thought finally she's won it. She can breathe. Then she chased a crown.
Yeah.
She was constantly chasing. It's like, no matter if you've got that pro card or not, it makes no difference. It's a piece of paper.
Hmm.
And I remember when I won, you were like, oh my God, how do you feel? I'm like, no different.
Yeah. I
Like,
know.
it's
Yeah.
paper. It's great that, your hard work was noticed for it to be said, you are worthy of this pro status. You are now worthy and at a level where we think you could compete with the best athletes. So it's really nice from that point of view, but at the same time, nobody can take away the pro card from
Yeah.
you. So
Hmm.
whether you go and do a pro season or retire, some people retire after winning the pro card.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you've earned it. Nobody can remove it.
Hmm.
Because like with my season coming up, I'm going against some huge names.
Yeah.
Huge, huge names. And as long as I don't look like a marshmallow on stage with them, I'm happy. Like I could nearly finish my season,
Yeah.
hang up the boots or heels, and say, that's it.
Hmm.
I never went into bodybuilding for a pro card, nor is it my career.
Like
My
to
career
become a
started
star. Yeah.
like this.
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
happened here. Um, I don't need a pro card for my career enhancement or for my livelihood. I
Hmm.
just did it for passion and the love of the sport and to push myself.
Yeah.
But now with the cost, I'm just like, do you know what? I really don't need this.
I know, yeah. And I mean, you're in the UK. I'm not quite sure. Like, do you feel it's as expensive as, say, London? Like, I'm aware that there's a high cost of living in like London and in England. Do you feel like that's the same where you are?
Um, I suppose I did agency nursing
Hmm.
um, when I was doing my first sort of 5 course shows. So I had just finished my master's degree when was in the midst of prep for my 2019 show.
Hmm.
So I had just handed in my dissertation and I was what, 8 weeks out from
My God.
London.
Yeah.
I then joined an agency because I was originally the hospital bank staff, but that was paying just the typical NHS wage, so
Hmm.
basic wage. Whereas everyone's like, well, you're still doing ad hoc, join an agency. So I was getting double the wage. So I was able to pay for my show like that.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, my very first show, I didn't get an expensive bikini. Yes, I paid for some posing practice and also my coach,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
in terms of what shows became, it was very cheap.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
then I bought my house. I live on my own, so my wage has to pay for my mortgage, it has to pay for my car, it has to pay for everything else. Um, then in 2023, before I went to Calgary, I changed jobs because agency nursing was going downhill. There wasn't much work. So I had to go and get myself a permanent job. Now, I will say I'm very fortunate, it's a good wage, but it was still £16,000 less a year
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
in comparison to what I was getting.
Right.
But that £16,000 paid for my shows like that.
Hmm. Of course.
If I wanted an extra photo shoot, because I remember, I'm not sure if you remember, but before Worlds, we all got this message from the president saying, I believe will be watching every part of your moves. I will see if you use the services, the photo shoots. And I remember
That was intense.
I,
Yeah.
two girls, we were all the same posing coach, and um, she was doing her pro debut at that show.
Yeah.
And one girl was from Italy. That was her very first show. And then there was me, and we were on the group chat with posing coach,
Hmm.
and we were like, "Do we have to spend $1,000
Yeah.
photo shoot? Because it sounds like if we don't do it, we will automatically come last."
Yeah. You're in
So
shit.
I just did an extra shift, and that paid for that shoot.
Oh my God.
Whereas I don't have that now because I'm working 5 days. I'm trying to open my own business.
Hmm.
So it's a lot more expensive on top of like my house insurance just doubled this year.
Yes.
So I'd say I'm fortunate where I am. It's cheaper to live,
Hmm.
but worldwide the photo shoots are the same cost.
Yeah.
No.
Inflation, it's everywhere. Yeah, like for Victoria, where I'm living, we used to be moderately cheaper than, say, the cost of living in Vancouver. Vancouver was more. Oh, I just got a notice that we have 10 minutes on my Zoom, which is fine.
It's fine.
Okay. Anyways, see, I told you I said anyways. Pardon me, I gotta laugh at my own jokes a second. So yeah, the cost of living is has become higher and higher here in Victoria, also like the real estate cost. So what I also noticed as a competitor, I would go to Costco and for a package of four egg whites would be what, like $7 before maybe a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and now the same package is $11.89.
At least
The
you got Costco.
Yeah, what?
We
Yeah.
don't have it.
Oh, right, right. Or a 2.2 kilogram of chicken breasts. It used to be about $25. Now the same package at Costco is about $35. I was lucky last night. I got it for $28. It was on sale. So the price of everything I need has gone up. I used to be able to get things I don't know, on Facebook Marketplace, but I just found myself getting exhausted. And then when that whole situation came out, and the whole reputation of the WBFF was in question there, I was just like, I am so sad. I was so sad for a long time. And then after I recovered, I was just like, guys, I think I'm done. And it took a while. It took a while for me to get to that realization. But now that I have, and it's what, we're about a year and a half away from that. I mean, so much happened. I couldn't believe when we were at the year mark in the summer that just 1 year had passed. It felt like 5 years had passed because of the level of emotions that I guess we all went through. We being the regular WBFF athletes who had been at it for a long time. So uh, I like during the pandemic, I went back to college. I got my associate's degree in hospitality management slash business. So I got into working because I remember I'd said I tried to become a fitness coach, but I realize I'm more of a fitness enthusiast. I also think there might be other things at work as to why people didn't believe me as a fitness coach, but that's an entirely different story, which is why I have written a book about my life because I have my own views and opinions as to what the hell happened to me. So, that is being
That's
edited
the next
and
video. That's our next video.
I know, hey. So, I just coached myself for a photo shoot with Elite Ambitions, and I was like, you know what? I like this. I like the being able to say run my own macros, have different types of training plans. That's my other goal right now. I'm working with Base Body Babes. They are the sister-in-law and wife of Australian strength coach because in all of the bodybuilding I did for all those years, I didn't really focus on strength training. So I have a good deadlift. I can deadlift like over 200 pounds. For me, that's good. I mean, my stage weight, I'm like your typical 5'5", 115 pound stage weight bikini girl. Maybe a few pounds more here and there over the years, but that's sort of my stature. I I can squat 135 without say my husband spotting me, but that's sort of like I don't have a heavy squat. I don't bench lift because I've got the girls going on, but I can overhead press and I like that. I think I get about 65 pounds, and for me, that's good. So those are my goals. That's where I am right now. So where,
I think people need to learn that no matter what sport you do,
yeah.
with bodybuilding, rugby, hockey, soccer, your time in that intense style of competition will end. And
Yeah.
you need to accept it, move on, have an action. Like you don't just go from being a professional athlete or just even a very dedicated amateur athlete to
Mhm.
nothing.
Yeah.
Because I remember I have a friend and he's like, "You'll not stop, you'll not stop." I'm like, "No, no, no, I really need to stop."
It's
It's
an
not well,
addiction. It feels like an addiction at times.
but I'm like, I'll not stop training.
Yeah.
I'll just not do it to the same extreme. It'll be nice to be able to go on holiday and not freak out like, oh my God, check in, or I need to find a gym, or all those little things.
Mhm.
I think life is very dynamic. It's like a river. You need to just go with it. If you
Mhm.
go against it, you're just going to harm yourself at
Yeah,
the end of it.
I know.
Yeah, I was going to say something I forgot already,
Oh,
but
well, for me, I knew it was time to move on and it just felt right.
yeah.
I always keep in the back of my head, you never know, I might change my mind and do like NPC slash, oh God, CPA bikini or something or other. But at the same time, I'm just sort of enjoying other things and having the time to sort of even have my all my wits and brains about me as I go about the day and taking on other challenges. So right now, I'm also trying to I am building up my social medias and I've got my book work going on. So I'm feeling good and I need my brain to in order all of it, my
Yeah,
creative, my analytical.
central part of the task.
Yeah. So how are you going to go about? I remember you saying that you actually have sponsors this time for your prep. That's so cool.
Well, hopefully, it's like we're going the right direction.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, work will sponsor, like, make some cost for my wings, for my theme wear. I have a friend who is actually a builder, but he would have money towards like sponsorships and things like that.
Yeah.
And he message or mentioned it to me when I saw him this week. Oh, I'd love to help
Yeah.
because like you've always done your shows, you've never backed out. I think he's having an issue with his current one. So yeah, that will help a lot because I've got European Championships in London. So it's been announced this morning,
For
16th,
FMG. Yeah.
yeah, 16th of August. And then 4 weeks later is Worlds in Australia. at the Gold Coast, and then in I think the next 2 weeks or so, we'll find out Dubai. But I'm thinking it's going to be like 4 or 5 weeks after Australia.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, what do I do? Like, I'll say for London, I'll just fly there and back. But for Australia, I'll also have to leave a good week early because of the distance and
Hmm.
also media and things like that. But do I fly all the way back from Australia for the sake of a week to go back to Dubai? Who knows? Or do I
Hmm.
just stay there for a month?
For the record, if I had like the time, I'd go with you. Oh, that would be so cool. But I have like work and a child and a husband apparently that I need all my attention. So I'll be here with them.
So
Yeah.
yeah, 34 weeks out from pro debut.
Yeah.
Scary bloody biscuits.
That's awesome. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is your pro
especially.
debut. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got that. I have a my aesthetic business which I've got off the ground. So I'm trying to get that going. The manager in work quit, so
Hmm.
I'm now the manager slash head nurse and trainer. So I've got two new staff coming on board. Sean is a good friend of
Hmm.
mine. We just clicked like you, I we just
Yeah.
clicked. She's going to be like another manager, but she's dealing with the marketing. We just gelled and we're on the
Nice.
same level automatically. And she was the one who said about sponsoring the wings.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
we got new staff. So it will be a very busy new year, but
Yeah.
hopefully it means I can take some time away from the clinic to
Hmm.
focus on aesthetics and prep.
Yeah. I wish we were in the same city, then you could do my face.
So
That's funny.
it's all in there.
Yeah.
I can't just do it over Zoom. Imagine we could.
Yeah, I know. That'll be in the next generation. So it looks like we have about a minute left on this Zoom. So any last thoughts about your direction or what's up?
Um, it's going to be a very interesting one.
Yeah.
It's because I'm bringing a different physique I've never
Yes.
brought. So I'm intrigued to see what it will look like and how my brain will cope.
Yeah, because you jumped to the figure category, right? That's where you're looking.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I will do fitness anyway.
Yes. That's so awesome.
But
Yeah.
I think I'm more figure now at this stage.
Hmm. I know. My God, that's so awesome. So, let's wrap it up. Let's do another one very soon. Okay?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Have a good Sunday, and
You
I'll
too.
chat to you soon.
Indeed.
Okay, hang
Bye.
on.